Help me reach 5,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. She came in at 1:23 in the morning, loud at the door like she forgot how keys work. I was on the couch, sports muttering on mute, a half-drunk glass of water sweating a ring into the coffee table I built back when home meant something. She looked at me with that amused face she saved for when I did something loyal. "Ah," she sang, dropping her heels by the door. My faithful little porch dog kept watch. "Did you wag?" "Door's open," I answered, remote still in my hand. "Clock's not. We had a 9:30. We had me time," she tossed back, fishing her phone from her tiny bag. "Relax. You're fine. Not what fine looks like." She clicked on the lamp, flooding the room in cheap yellow. "You're doing that thing again. The worried husband routine. It's clingy. It's called being married," I said. 9:30 means 9:30. If it's midnight, I want a heads up. If it's 1, I want a reason. She smirked, scrolling. "And I want a husband who doesn't pace by the window." "You waiting like this?" "Kinda embarrassing." I stood. "Then don't make me wait." She laughed low. "You're adorable when you pretend you have rules." I killed the lamp. "New rule," I said in the dark. "I don't wait up again." If I'd known where this was headed, I'd have started packing that night. In the morning I made eggs because I always made eggs. The house smelled like butter and coffee, and she drifted in with that fresh salon scent she wore when she wasn't sleeping here. She sat, took a fork, barely touched anything. "You're quiet," she said. "I told you the rule." I slid a plate her way. "Sundown means check-in or change of plan. If you want your own schedule, you can have it. But I'm not the porch light." She stabbed a yolk and watched it run. "So now I need permission to live." "You need respect to share a life?" I replied. I pulled my phone and opened the shared calendar. "I removed myself from your after-work events. Don't sync me unless it involves both of us. I'm done covering the gaps." She tilted her head. "Covering? Like what?" "Like calling your sister when you go missing. Like telling your boss you were sick when you weren't. Like explaining to my friends why you didn't show." "That's dramatic." She elbowed the plate away. "Also, stop talking to my family. Boundaries, remember? You like boundaries?" I took a sip of coffee. "Great. Tonight, I'm at the shop late. Tomorrow, I'm hiking with Carl. Saturday, I've got the garage. If you need me, text. If I'm not available, you'll adapt." She blew a breath through her nose, the tiniest laugh. "So independent. You still doing date night tomorrow, or am I penciled out?" "We can still go," I said, "if you're there at 7. Or." She tapped her mug, nails soft on ceramic. "Or I eat, and you enjoy your night." She stared a beat. "You're weird lately." "Lately has reasons," I said. "You know the reasons." "Or you made them up," she countered. "Either way, stop hovering. It's not attractive." I cleared the dishes. "Then stop giving me a reason to hover." She stood. "You can't manage me, Mark." "I won't try," I replied, drying my hands. "Management's for employees. I'll manage myself." At lunch, she texted a photo of a latte on her desk, a little hard in the foam. "Miss you. Dinner?" For a second, I allowed myself the old pattern. Problem. Gesture. Reset. I answered fine. 7. She sent a thumbs up and a smile. Then nothing until 5:58. Running a little behind. 15? I was at the place on Maple, the one with the wood booths and the chalkboard menu. 7:15. 7:30. 7:42. She breezed in at 7:50 with a "finally" tone, kissed my cheek like we were fine, and ordered something complicated off menu. "You look grumpy," she teased. "You're late," I said. "Traffic. And I had to change. I don't show up looking like I've been at a desk." She leaned back. "So, vacation. I've been thinking. We do the coast next month. 10 days. You pay lodging, I'll handle food." "Fair. I'm already booked," I said. "Took extra shifts. The shop's buried until fall." Her smile pinched. "You never told me." "I just did." "So we're not going," she concluded. "Because you made plans." "Because I made choices," I corrected. "We can do a long weekend. Something local." She gave a soft laugh at nothing. "Local. You're so practical. Better than being a porch dog," I said. She glanced at the server, then at me. "You're still on that." "I'm on the pattern," I said. "Late." Smirk. "Lean on me when bills hit. Disappear when it's real." "Bills," she repeated, smiling bigger. "Right. Since we're being practical, can you bump the joint? Just this month." The studio membership's due, and I'm stretched. How stretched? I asked. Stretchy enough. She reached across, rested her fingers on mine, light and persuasive. I'm good for it next month. The server slid plates in. I pulled my hand back to make room. The joint stays for utilities. I'm not funding extras. If you need a different budget, we adjust. Together. Together? She forked a salad leaf with something like disdain. Please don't say together while you're telling me no. I'm telling you the rule, I said. No more surprises with money. No more pressure. If you want a studio, you pay for it. She chewed slow, eyes on my face like she was testing for a flinch. And if I don't, then you don't. She smiled kindly, like I was a toddler holding a plastic sword. You know how this makes you look, right? Like a man with a backbone. I wiped my mouth and set the napkin on the table. We good for a quick walk after? Or you need to run? She watched me a long beat and then softened. Let's walk, she said, bright all over, as if I'd passed some exam. I miss those. We used to be good at them. We walked around the block. She slid her hand through my arm. She told me about a new project at her studio, a younger group she was mentoring, nights that ran long. Every other sentence had a pronoun with no name behind it. They invited. They stayed after. They all went out. I listened and filed the details. When we got home, she was warm for a night, the way a couple is warm when they are trying to pretend everything is still in place. I didn't hate it. I just kept my distance inside my own head. Friday, I left early for the shop. Dave had a carburetor on the bench and a radio bumping an old game. Gina from the next bay leaned on the toolbox and asked about the house. Good, she said. You look tired. Learning new rules, I said, tightening a clamp. You ever see someone change the locks without touching the door? It's that. Dave smirked. You finally telling her no? I'm telling me yes, I said. Baby steps. That night, she texted at 9, girls' night. Home late. No requests. No emoji. No location. I didn't reply. I went to bed at 10, guest room, door cracked. At 1, the front door opened quiet, like a cat joke. I heard heels on the mat. I didn't bother. The next morning, she found me in the garage resizing a shelf. You didn't wait up, she said. You got the memo, I answered. You're being weird. She crossed her arms. Also, I need your truck Monday. My car's in for tires. I'm using it, I said. Parts pick up. Ask Dave for a ride or rent one. She smiled small. You're really making it hard to like you. I set the level on the wood. You don't have to like me to respect me. She hovered a second, then lowered her voice like we were in on a secret. Okay, listen. I might have pushed. Sorry. It's been a week. The girls are doing a weekend in the mountains next month. I'm going because if I don't, I'll go crazy. I need you to fix the schedule and cover the house stuff. Cool. That's not an apology, I said. That's a request dressed as one. Fine, she said. I'm requesting. Happy. No. Here's what I can do. I took a pencil and wrote on the wood, a dumb impulse to make it visual. You're gone. You handle your own expenses. I'll cover the lights and water. When you're back, we sit down and put numbers in a spreadsheet. Every dollar, every date. Then we live by it. She stared at the pencil marks. You're like a school principal. Then don't cut class. She sighed. This is sad, Mark. What's sad is that this is new, I said. We ended it there. I stuck to my day. She stuck to hers. Sunday we had brunch at Tara and Logan's place. Their yard was full of dogs and folding chairs and people in sunglasses who talk about mortgage rates like they're football scores. I brought ribs. She brought her best performance. Tara poured drinks. Where were you last night, Queen? She asked with a grin. Around. My wife said, shrugging like life was a shrug. I've been busy. He doesn't mind. She gestured at me like I was a coffee table somebody had to dust. Logan clapped me on the back. You alive, man? I was born alive, I said. The rest is optional. Tara laughed. He's so stoic. I love it. She looked at my wife. If I had one like that, I'd keep him on the porch too. Already tried, my wife said. He sits and waits. So loyal. A couple people laughed. I set down the tongs and wiped my hands. Since we're doing open mic, I said at a normal volume, here's mine. Don't talk about me like I'm a rescue animal. I'm your husband or I'm a guest, not a prop. Second, I'm not waiting for anyone again. If you're not where we agreed, I go. If bills are due, I pay my half. If plans change, I change mine. Clear. The backyard quieted. Logan raised his eyebrows. Tara looked at her drink. My wife smiled once tight. Relax, she said. We're joking. Then pick a different joke, I said. I handed the tongs to Logan. I'm out. You handle the food, man. It's all seasoned. Mark, she called as I moved past her. Oh, come on. I'll be home by 6, I said. If you're there, we talk. If not, we don't. I left through the side gate because I wanted the gate's rattle to be the punctuation. In the truck, I stared at my own hands on the wheel and did the math. Every time she pushed, she wanted something bigger on the other side. Money, freedom from responsibility, applause. The jabs weren't random, they were tools. At home, I took the shared debit off autopay for anything that wasn't basic. I printed a list of what I'd cover and taped it inside the pantry where I kept nails and batteries. I changed my phone to Do Not Disturb after 10. Then I packed a duffel with 3 days of clothes and stuck it behind the tool chest. Insurance, not drama. At 6:20, she came in with the smell of other people's patio smoke in her hair. You're ridiculous, she said by way of hello. I'm consistent, I answered. We said 6. It's 6:20. Let's keep it short. She tossed her bag on the chair. Fine. I don't like ultimatums. There are boundaries with clocks, I said. Same difference. She paced to the window, then back. You've turned cold. I've turned off, I corrected. Different thing. She rubbed her arms like she was chilly even though the air wasn't. I'm trying, she said suddenly, flipping tone like a coin. I cooked for us last night. I text you. I went to brunch. I show up. You cooked because you needed a favor, I said. You text because I stopped chasing. You went to brunch to perform. I'm not grading you. I'm pointing out the pattern. She stared at me with that patient look people use on kids throwing fits. You'll feel better after some time. Let it pass. Listen to yourself, I said. You're not in this. The problem is you're obsessed with respect, she said. You make it a job. It's exhausting. The problem is you think it's optional, I answered. It's the floor. She went quiet, then shifted again, soft voice, careful eyes. Okay, I hear you. I'll try to be home more. I'll let you know if I'm late. Happy. She stepped close and touched my chest like that solved things. I glanced at her hand and then at her face. I'm not looking for sweet moods, I said. I'm looking for a partner. She pulled back. Don't push it, she said, color rising. I offered peace. Peace without truth is just quiet, I said. I don't need quiet that bad. She let out a short sound and walked away, phone already up, attention already elsewhere. That night she slept in the main room. I stayed in the guest room and slept fine. On Wednesday, I had a presentation at the shop's client night. She came in late and made a show of cheering from the back, overly supportive, hugging me in front of people I manage. This guy, she told Gina, he's the best. Took me years to train him. Laughter scattered around like crumbs. I smiled, shook hands, and used my clipboard as a shield. After, she wrapped both arms around my neck. See, she said, I can be sweet. You were sweet like a billboard, I said. You trying to sell something? She tilted her head. As a matter of fact, my car insurance guy says if my name's on the truck, rates drop for both of us. Win-win. We should do it. Paperwork's easy. No, I said. She blinked. Just like that. Just like that. You're unbelievable. Somebody has to be, I said. The next week, Kara hosted a wine night. I had 2 friends I respected, both in town for a job, and she insisted they come. You need community, she said like a coach passing out water bottles. I didn't want to go, but I didn't want to hide either. We showed up, me with a 6-pack of sparkling water, her with a story already formed. Kara's living room was soft furniture and loud voices. Music was background noise. Women did the talking that night. The men formed an island near the bookshelf pretending to care about hardwood. Kara pointed at me with her glass. How's married life, Mark? You keeping our girl in line? I chipped the edge off my smile. She's not a fence post. My wife slid in front of me like a presenter stepping to the mic. He tries, she told the room, grin bright. He waits at the window, keeps track, does the chores. Such a good boy. Nervous laughter. Not just from them, from me, too. Habit. Then I clocked my 2 friends' faces. One raised eyebrow, one flat line. That was my mirror. Enough, I said steady. That stops. What stops? She asked, even though she heard me the first time. Talking about me like I'm your project, I said. Or your pet. Last warning. You're overreacting, she laughed. Then I'll do it quietly, I said. I set the waters on the table. I'm leaving. You can stay. Don't be dramatic, Kara said gently. She's teasing. You can call it what you want, I told her. Words have a price. I'm done subsidizing it. My two friends stepped closer without making a scene. Matt lowered his voice. You want a ride? I drove, I said. I looked at my wife. You've got the house tonight. Lock up. I'll be back at sunrise. Why sunrise? She asked automatically. Because dawn is when people who actually live there show up. I left with my keys. On the drive home, I called Dave and told him I'd be out of pocket for a couple days. I stopped for gas and thought about the phrase she kept using, good boy, and how quickly a woman can turn a man into furniture when the room claps for it. I pictured the porch again. Not a memory, a posture. At home, I cleaned the guest room out like I was leaving for a week. Then I sat at the dining table and printed 3 sheets. One with a budget split, one with a list of boundaries we'd already discussed, one with what I would and would not do from here on out. I wasn't handing her a contract. I was leaving myself a map. I folded the sheets and put them with my duffel by the garage door. She came in late. The house was dark. She shuffled around, made noise in the kitchen, opened and closed the fridge like the light inside it had answers. After a while, she stood in the doorway of the guest room. You're actually doing this? She asked. Doing what? Punishing me. I turned a page in the manual I wasn't reading. I'm done with that kind of language. I'm managing my life. You manage yours. So that's it, she said. No conversation? There is one, if you want it, I said. A real one. She hesitated. Now. We sat at the kitchen table. Streetlight pushed through the blinds and put lines on everything. She folded her arms and started with the script. You've been distant, she said. I matched you, I said. You don't trust, she went on. I watch patterns, I replied. You're making me feel policed. You're making me feel irrelevant. She looked down at the table, then at me with a face I didn't recognize. Tired, maybe, or just finally unmasked. What do you want from me? She asked. Truth, I said, so I can make decisions. Truth about what? I let a long second stand. What don't you like about our marriage? She didn't blink. She just chose a switch and flipped it. That it's with you. There was no echo after that. Just an empty space I could walk through. I nodded once. Because that's what you do when the doctor gives you a test result you suspected anyway. You just said that to the last person who respected you. I answered. I'll get out of your way. She rolled her eyes, then laughed, then didn't. You're so dramatic, she tried, reaching for the old rhythm. But there was nothing for it to hook onto. I'll be gone before sunrise, I said. You'll be fine. Where are you even going? She demanded, a flick of panic finally showing through. Forward, I said. Out of range. She stood suddenly. You can't just leave. The house. The house is yours to handle, I said. Utilities are split starting this month. My auto pays are off. The joint is for the lights and water only. You'll be fine. She opened her mouth, closed it, and looked at the fridge like maybe the light inside it had answers after all. So you're what? Leaving me with everything. You wanted everything, I said. Now you can have it. She swallowed, rage building under the skin the way a storm builds over a flat field. You're cruel. I'm accurate. You'll come back tomorrow, she declared, defaulting to prophecy. You'll calm down. Dawn is in 2 hours, I said. If I'm not back by then, that's the future. She slept in the main room. I didn't sleep. I showered, shaved, packed the rest of what mattered. Tools, documents, a few shirts, the watch my father gave me. At 5:40, the horizon turned light. I carried the duffel to the truck. I wrote a note and left it on the table because I wanted to leave a sentence behind in a house full of noise. It said, you care about comfort. I care about respect. We're both about to get what we want. At dawn, I left for good. I didn't slam a door. I didn't check the mirror. The sun was barely up and the road was clean. I drove to the little place by the river I'd found online 2 weeks earlier when I pretended I was searching for fishing spots. The landlord met me with keys and a form. First month, last month, end of story. I moved the duffel in and hung my shirts on 2 nails. No ceremony. At 8, I texted Logan. I'm out. Don't pick sides. Then Dave. Won't be in today. Tell Gina she's got point. Then my sister. I'm fine. Don't call her. I turned my phone face down and let the quiet happen. At noon, she called. I didn't answer. She texted a paragraph. We need to talk. This is insane. You can't do this. Think of the house. Think of all we built. Be an adult. At 2, she sent a photo of the pantry papers with a caption, "You really printed rules?" At 3, a short clip of our living room, neat and empty, with the sound off. The digital equivalent of standing at a window waiting for headlights. By evening, she tried soft again. "I made dinner," it read. "Come home." I left it unread. I took a walk by the river, watched a kid ride a bike too fast, watched a man in a suit toss a sandwich crust to the water and miss. The ordinary world kept going like I hadn't just moved out of my life. The next day, I called the utility companies and split accounts formally. No drama on the phone, just email addresses and numbers. I canceled the 2 subscriptions I paid that she used more than I did. Grown-up decisions. I took my name off the delivery services. I took the spare key from Tara's junk drawer when I stopped by after work for a box I'd left there, told her I was done playing house in her living room too. "Is this really happening?" she asked low. "It already happened," I said. "Don't be stubborn," she tried. "Stubborn is staying," I told her. "You're hurting her," she said. She made her statements, I said. "I'm making mine." At work, they asked a lot of quiet questions they didn't say out loud. I gave them what they needed. I'm good. Focused. We have deadlines. My productivity jumped because there was nothing to go home to except a small clean room and a bed that didn't judge me. She kept calling. Day 3 was angry. Day 4 was bargaining. Day 5 was sugar. "I get it," she wrote. I pushed. I made jokes. I stayed out. "But we can fix this. Come home. We'll start over. I'll put my schedule in the calendar. I'll stop with the girls' nights for a while. We'll do therapy like you wanted. Let me show you." I read it twice. Then I typed exactly what I meant. "I believe you're capable of doing all of that with someone. It won't be me." That night, I slept like a person who had finally stopped putting his own future on hold. The fallout wasn't cinematic. It was bills at first. She texted a photo of the electric statement with "You're paying half" underlined like a threat. I sent my half in the receipt. The gas came due. I sent my portion exactly. She didn't get to bait me with money. She tried to get me to sign off on adding her name to the truck. I answered with a one-liner, "Not happening." She asked, no, instructed, that I let her keep my shop membership because she liked the classes they offered in the back room. I canceled it for me and told her to open her own. She called me childish. I offered silence. Tara ran into me at the hardware store aisle, where grown men pretend they know things about plumbing. She looked careful, like she was approaching a wild animal. "She's not doing great," Tara said. "She has what she wanted," I replied. "She wanted you to chase," Tara said quietly. "You always did." "I retired," I said. "She misses you," she tried. "She misses control," I corrected. "Different product." "She told me you left at dawn," Tara added, like that time mattered. "Best light of the day," I said. Word got around our little circle that we were taking space. I didn't correct anyone because I didn't care. I showed up where I said I'd show up. I skipped what I didn't. When people asked dumb prying questions, I smiled and redirected. When someone cracked a joke about porch dogs in my hearing, I looked at them long enough to make the point and then kept moving. About 3 weeks in, she asked if I could come by to get the last of your stuff. It was a test and an ambush, I knew from the text cadence. I went anyway because leaving things behind is how you get called back to pick them up for months. I parked on the street and walked in like a contractor doing a final inspection. She'd done the place up like a set. Candles, music, a bottle open on the counter. She wore something she knew used to work on me. "You look good," she said carefully. "So do you," I answered neutral. "Where's my gear?" "In the bedroom," she said. "But can we talk first?" "We can walk and talk," I said. "I'm not staying." She inhaled like she might argue, and then switched to honey. "Okay, I hear you. I want to say sorry." "For what?" I asked without moving. "For being dismissive," she said. "For the jokes. For staying out. For making you feel small." "You did more than make me feel," I said. "You performed it. You trained a room. That takes practice." She held my eyes. "I know. It's ugly. I'm embarrassed." "Embarrassment is an audience emotion," I said. "There's no audience here." "I love you," she pushed. "I love the man I am when I'm respected," I said. "I don't love this version." So I left him behind too. "So there's nothing?" she asked softly. "There's a door behind me," I said. "And your life in front of you. Can we at least sell the house and—" "No," I cut in. "You want it, you keep it. All of it. That includes upkeep, the roof you wanted, the payment you said was easy. That's the price. You can always sell later." Her jaw set. You're trying to punish me with comfort responsibility. That's twisted. I'm saying you chased freedom like it was a sale item, I said. Now own it at full price. She looked past me to the hall. Maybe to buy time. People will think you're cruel, she said. People can think, I said. I can live. I took my last boxes and left her with the candles and the music and a picture in a frame where we were laughing at something that wasn't funny anymore. 3 months later, I had a rhythm. Mornings at the shop, afternoons that ended when the work ended, not when a text told me how late I'd be waiting. I bought a used boat motor from a guy who didn't need it anymore. I got a little place further upriver with a garage big enough for the bench I built with Dave. I kept the truck and traded it in for nothing. It was mine. I put food in my own fridge, and it stayed there until I ate it. Simple victories matter more than movies tell you they do. I didn't badmouth her. I didn't keep a burned book of what she did. I kept one sentence in my head like a compass. I am not furniture. I am not a porch dog. The calendar synced with no one's life but mine. When I went hiking with Carl, I came home when I said I would, only because I said I would. On Sundays, I sat at a diner counter and read a paper instead of scanning rooms for her mood. When I dated, a woman named Nora who asked direct questions and didn't use them as weapons. I told her on the first night, I don't chase. I show up or I don't. She said, good, and meant it. News trickled back in believable fragments. She listed the house, and it sat. She tried to rent it and couldn't keep up with the maintenance. The studio cut her hours when the summer slowed. The girls' nights got fewer because there was no show to sell anymore. Tara ran into me at the river trail and lifted a hand in a gray wave. She's in a smaller place now, Tara said, like she was reading an obituary out loud. Less to clean, I answered. You're harsh, she said, but there wasn't heat in it. No, I said. I'm done. I saw my wife exactly once more, months later, in a grocery store parking lot. She was loading a bag into a small hatchback that wasn't ours. She looked the same and completely different. Lighter, somehow, like a balloon after a party, drifting half deflated, still technically there. She caught my eye for a second. No wave. No move. Just the calculus two former spouses do in a public place. Am I going to ruin my day or walk away? We both walked. If you want a moral, that's your business. I didn't learn grand lessons. I learned small ones that matter more. Don't sit by windows waiting for a car that doesn't belong to you. Don't let anyone train a room to laugh at you. Don't teach someone you'll stick around when they tell you who they are. The last night I spent in the old house, she told me the truth with a precision I couldn't argue. That it's with you. That's not cruelty. That's information. My answer wasn't anger. It was a line. You just said that to the last person who respected you. At dawn, I walked out. She figured out later what that meant. By then my other life had already started, quieter, cleaner, run by respect instead of apology. If there's anything like justice in this world, it's not dramatic. It's just a man deciding he won't be managed and then living like that, day after day, until the porch is just a porch again, and the only dog there is the neighbor's, and he barks because he's happy to see you, not because he learned it from desperation.